That hurt. More verticality. All right, welcome to Straight Red Card. We are back for the final third segment of the night. At this point, it really does feel like Lennox Lewis or Mike Tyson have been taking turns punching me in the face. But I'm hanging in there, folks. I'm hanging in there for all of us. That sounds really arrogant, doesn't it? But before we get there, before we get to the transfer news, I do have to say that it's been cold as shit in Indiana, and I'm sick of it, Brett, and I want it to be over. This, on top of being sick, having it be 6 degrees last night. I mean, I think I need to get my heating system checked because it's barely keeping up with the cold. I mean, it's been brutal, brutal cold in the house, which, you know, all right, I'm kind of sick, so 63 degrees is pretty fucking cold when you're sick.
I wish.
You wish what?
My house wouldn't be that cold.
Oh.
So, I mean, we used to always, before kids, we'd always keep our house between about 65 and 67, usually about 65 consistently.
Yeah, that's perfect.
However, in this new house, I'll go and I'll set the thermostat to 65 because I want it's burning up 90% of the time here.
Yeah, that's me too. I'm usually high.
I turn it down and the fucking thing doesn't go down. It stays right about 69 to 71.
So that's not somebody fucking with it. That's your system's issue.
Yeah. I'm kind of annoyed. We just had a leak in our fridge, a bunch of water damage. So we just paid for all that shit. New carpet in the entire house, because why would you replace carpet in one room but not the rest of the house? And now I've got to deal with the fucking thermostat.
It reminds me of this whole temperature change thing of when I was in college, and my girlfriend Heather would, and it was the dead of summer, we were taking summer classes at IU, and she would wake up and she was cold, so she just turned the air conditioner off when it was like 99 fucking degrees. I didn't have a class until 11:30. So I woke up at like 10:30 and the room was like 88 degrees, scorching hot. And then she would come home and we'd have this argument. I'd be like, listen, just turn it down. Don't turn it off. I can't take my skin off. If you're cold, put more clothes,
put a sweater on you.
Jesus Christ.
So this always takes me back to well, first off, Indiana weather in its own right is just really goofy, but then Bloomington's even goofier. I remember one time when I was down in Bloomington, it was a spring day, so it was like 5 o'clock one night. It was like 70 degrees, and then like legitimately overnight it dropped down to like the teens and it was snowing. And I'm just like, yeah. That's just fucking weird that there's that big of a fucking drop in less than a day's span. You know, it fluctuates. I mean, obviously, most of the time during winter here in Indy, it's usually in the low 30s to teens, give or take.
Yeah.
Occasional 40s, and weirdly, recently, occasional 60s.
That was awesome. I loved it. But my dog loved it too.
But to your story, this always gets me whenever you start hearing Europeans talking about the weird things when they visit the States, and you know, being in hotel rooms and AC blasting, and that's so strange to them. They're freezing to death at night because the AC was running. And I'm just like, they're like, yeah, in Europe, you know, we don't run the AC, you know. It's just, well, I'm just like, you know, come here to Indy in the dead of summer.
Yeah.
Don't sit in a room, sit in a house that doesn't have AC running. Go ahead, open that window. That window won't do shit.
Nada. But, you know, it is really interesting that people right up until, you know, the last century didn't have air conditioning. And I think about it now, I'm like, God damn, I'm spoiled because Imagine you're in a farm during the summer in 1881. Damn, you'd be burning up in that motherfucker.
Yeah, if you look at all the old farmhouses around here, though, there's houses surrounded by like 10 or 12 ginormous oaks. I mean, there's just so much shade around the house.
Well,
so, I mean,
yeah.
it definitely helps. I mean, my parents are living in a wooded lot, and I would come here from Noblesville, which a neighborhood built on a cornfield, to their wooded lot, and the temperature decrease in summer just from my front door to their yard was like a 15-degree difference plus wind. There's actually breeze in the woods compared to out in the cornfield.
Yeah, what you're talking about there is a canopy. And yeah, because so in major towns across the United States, they used to let the trees, the big motherfuckers, continue to grow, and they were big, tall trees along the roads, and then you had the sidewalk underneath that canopy. So let's say it was lightly raining, you could actually walk out of your house, get underneath the canopy, and walk for blocks without any direct rain hitting you. That's the point of the canopy. Was also the trees were left there so the buggies, horse and buggies, let's say a horse, all of a sudden had, like a massive freak out, that the people on the sidewalk would be at least have the trees as cover. But we chopped them all in Bloomington. We chopped all those trees down in like, I can't remember what year, 19.
You chop that shit down, and then you just replace it with like those 10-foot garbage decorative trees.
There's plenty of
everywhere.
Those
everywhere. What the fuck did those actually do?
Not much. They're just decorative. They're part of city planning rules. You have to have a tree so many feet when you on a lot or whatever along a sidewalk. It's fucking ridiculous.
So
We'd love to have the big trees back though.
That's when we saw this house, and we saw that it was in an old wooded lot, big tall trees, oaks. We've got black walnuts and everything like that, and it's just our backyard is just our little patch of grass gets about an hour and a half of sun during the summer, and that's about it.
Yeah. So
the entire backyard is all shaded. It's so fucking nice.
And yeah, that's all it really takes. I mean, there's a huge difference between unshaded. If it's 90 degrees out, it's a big difference between being in the shade and not being in the shade, especially in this humidity in Indiana, in the Midwest. All right, we'll get to
this ended the rocket science portion of our show. Let's move on to soccer now.
What's that rocket science?
Well, you're telling us it's much cooler being under a tree and shaded than being out in the sun? No.
I'm just trying to
mind blown.
I'm just trying to emphasize the fact that our forefathers in the 1800s weren't idiots. There was a reason they left the big trees up and built roads alongside them. Canopy. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, so we've got a few things happening here before we get to some of your questions, but James Sands loaned to Rangers. That's fine. I think he'll play. Again, I'm not getting into this debate again because we've talked about 1,000 times how good is the Scottish Premier League. It's not really good after Celtic and Rangers. It's okay after that. So this isn't really like a massive step up.
I mean guaranteed Europa and potential Champions League, but
right
outside of that, I mean, week in week out, you're playing, mediocre.
Pick one of them. You're playing some teams that are lesser than MLS, essentially. Celtic plays Rangers. That's a good game, but because that's two teams that would perform very well in MLS.
I think SPL should just create a super league within the SPL where just Celtic and Rangers play each other every week.
That would help the development of some of their players, I think. But yeah,
I'm sorry if there are some SPL fans in there, but we take a lot of shit for being MLS fans too. So,
and then we take a lot of shit for being MLS haters too. So pick one. But we're saying basically, if you're playing Ross County and Livingston, week in, week out, and Dundee and St. Johnstone, that's not better than MLS competition. So if you're playing for Rangers, you really want to get the best experiences you can possibly get by playing Celtic or even Hearts, maybe Motherwell. But after that, it starts to drop so dramatically. It actually starts to drop dramatically after Hearts, honestly, because then everybody's got like relatively the same amount. You got Motherwell, Hibernian, Aberdeen, Dundee
minus a
United.
rare season here and there where a team like Hibs come out.
Yeah,
perform.
sometimes that happens.
It
Yeah,
happens. So don't say, well, back in 1974, we don't want to hear it.
yeah, and then Hearts is they've been like that third. They've been competitive before, but that was, years past, and they're competitive now. But it's still the height of the Scottish Premiership was years ago, honestly. But the good news is he's there, and as you said, he's at Rangers. That means they're going to play Champions League. Don't know how deep they're going to go, but he'll get that experience, and I think he will get to play. And that's
he's a
different.
Talented kid.
Yeah, that's different from if he went somewhere else. And then, of course, you do have CCV at Celtic, and he's just getting no love at all from Gregg. So I don't know how much this is going to really benefit Sands in the long run. I just
maybe he's looking past 2022.
Yeah. Caleb Stanko went to Greece. I don't even know what team he's playing for, but he transferred to Greece. Let me look that up. Caleb was one of those he played, I think, one game, I believe, for the U.S. men's national team. Yep. Okay. That's off of memory. And then, of course, he formerly from Freiburg. He's now 28. He spent some time in Switzerland. Then to Cincy, where, Cincy's just been bad. I don't know any other way to put it. And now he's with a team that's relatively the top of the Greek league. So it's kind of almost like a Scottish move as well. And the reason is one of the coaches, he knew one of the coaches from, I think, an assistant coach at Freiburg at one point, and he's now the head coach at this. I'm not even going to even attempt to pronounce the name of the team. PAS is all I'm going to say, in Greece. And so there's the connection there. I don't think Caleb Stanko has any chance of ever playing for the U.S. men's national team.
28 now.
Right.
Nope.
Exactly. Did you hear that rumor about your Chicago boys? They're interested in Niederlechner. That they're pursuing Niederlechner, which is interesting because Niederlechner would be, if healthy, one of Pepe's biggest competitors at Augsburg for that center forward spot. So at 31, if he goes to your fire, that's a one guy eliminated, man. Good for Pepe.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just good for Pepe. Yes, I'll agree with that. I just at 31, I would have preferred almost a younger and I don't know how he plays, but at 31, I just like I don't know.
If you guys if you land a healthy Niederlechner, I'm telling you, it's going to be good for Chicago.
All right. We'll
He's an actual real center forward who scores goals. I mean, not for Augsburg, but and not lately because he's hurt. One of the things that we didn't mention was that Kyle Duncan went to Ostende. We didn't mention that. And I think it's worth mentioning because it's just another one of those sort of, okay, that's fine. I'm happy for Kyle Duncan.
Well, it's like the weekend reports and the midweek reports. We cover it all. It's not
we do cover it all.
Not the new hotness all the time, but
we cover shit people don't want us to cover. But I guess what I'm saying is,
after the show when we just talk about bullshit.
I mean, he's 24, Kyle Duncan at this point. He's already been abroad once before. He was at a French club. Oh, fuck. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. I can't remember the French club. No, Nebon. Not a ball. No, he wasn't at not a ball. He was like Valenciennes, I think, maybe. Anyhow, he only played a handful of games for their 2 team before going to the Red Bulls, and now he's back in Europe, which won't be a big deal for him. Honestly, he's been there before, so it won't be a big, but it's another
change.
Yeah, it's another Belgium club. It's kind of like Vines going over there to Belgium as well. It's like, is that a real next step challenge? Kind of not, but I get it. Everybody wants to go overseas now, and that's fine. I'm completely for it. Do whatever you got to do, make a buck. But I just don't think Belgium's that big of a step up. Scotland's not that big of a step up, and Greece isn't either from MLS. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on here and what these agents are thinking.
Even if it's a lateral move, though, and I'm not saying that the talent depth is much different. Actually, depth, I'd imagine, would be stronger in Belgium than it would be in MLS. When I say depth, I mean outside of the starting 11, of course. But I mean, at least maybe they're going to get pushed more because they have somebody always, sniffing their behinds trying to get their spot.
Maybe so.
Maybe
I don't know. That's
a plus, positive.
Hey, man, to each their own. If this is going to help them sell themselves going forward, so he can move from a smaller team like Oostende to a bigger team like Anderlecht or Bruges or whatever. Don't go to Bruges. Then fine.
I guess in the end, if you have an option and you really want to go to Europe to play, you're probably not concerning yourself whether or not it's a lateral move or a step up. You're probably just looking at, I want to go to play in Europe. Oh, this team in Belgium wants me. I'll go.
Yeah. Might as well, I guess.
Plus, as we talk with a lot of other players, you may not necessarily get another shot. Injuries taken to fold. Other teams just bide for younger talent. So it's, if you have an opportunity, I guess maybe you take your chance if you want to do it.
Yep. The loaning or with option to buy has already started between Mallorca and Malaga. They loaned Alex Phoebus as a center midfielder, 25 years old, with an option to buy. So they've already started the process there. So when is Hoppe next? Could very well be. Malaga want to make that. They want to make a run. So they want to get back up. So, they're going after players. They've already got one from Mallorca.
I guess at this point, I just want Hoppe to get playing time. So if this is the option, perhaps, I don't know.
Right.
He needs to get playing time. And I know that he's been injured since November. But again, if this is his more or less guarantee of playing time, then I'm fine with the loan. And
I think we
readdress it later.
It's better than riding pine. It
Horvath,
really is.
Riding Horvath.
It's better than riding pine if you're riding Horvath. Yeah, my bad. Right now, Malaga is in 10th. They're 5 points behind the first team in the qualification to the promotion playoffs. So they got some work to do, but they're making an effort. And I think that's good. And again, if Hoppe ends up there, I'm not going to complain as long as he plays a lot. Now I'm looking at the owner. The owner of that team is a Qatari businessman. So I don't know if there are any American.
I thought maybe Holden owned some of that too.
How could he? How could he? He's already invested all his money in Mallorca. I mean, I don't know how big of a salary he could possibly be getting from Fox. I just don't know. Also, Barca sent Coutinho to Aston Villa, so maybe they are willing to just ship guys out at this point for money. They just need the money, period. And then
Superliga fell on its face, so yeah, they definitely need the money.
Good. I'm glad it fell on its fucking face. Afimiko Polulu, the left midfielder from Basel, is going to Firth. So this might mean even less playing time from Julian Green, since he usually can play that left mid or the right mid or even the center mid or attacking mid spot. And they're bringing him in because he's been really good. in Switzerland. So
Mean
I don't
Green
know.
hasn't.
I mean, if this is the biggest move to first make during the break, however, they're still going down hard.
Maybe they're planning for that now. They want to get the guys in and trained, ready to go with the club. So when they go down to Bundesliga 2, they immediately try to make a fight in contention for jumping back up.
They're getting acclimated.
Yeah.
All right.
Berhalter coaching that team too?
They're getting into the what's that called? Not the climate. Is it the climate? What's the word they like to use in MLS now?
The environment or ecosystem?
Ecosystem. Yeah. Environment's too short of a word. So I'm going to take on the first comment question, and that's from Armando Zarate. Thank you. Great name, by the way. Armando Zarate. I've already said that.
Keep listening.
Man,
Derek's going to take you apart now.
It's like a famous Spanish actor, you know. I knew Armando Zarate before he started drinking. And he says, Derek got the concept of tiki taka completely wrong. No, I didn't. Meaningless passing isn't tiki taka. It's quite literally the opposite. Exactly what I was trying to say. That's the problem. Everybody's trying to play tiki taka. They can't really do it. So all we end up with side to side passes and back passes. That was my point, Armando. They're doing it wrong. And everybody's trying to do it, or too many people are trying to do it that shouldn't be trying to do it. And it's boring as fuck to watch. So that was my point.
Yeah, you know, K-Hog had his own comment on your take on tiki-taki. And yeah, he goes, not much verticality in playing side to side, is there?
No, there isn't.
My response was, well, it's all a matter of perspective. If it's going side to side, just turn 90 degrees and all of a sudden there's verticality.
Now, if Armando's point was, if they're doing it wrong, that's not tiki-taka. Fine. I agree with you. Maybe it's not. So maybe it's just bad tiki-taka, which is what we get to watch a lot of, unfortunately. And we can get into, you know, the background of where that came from, how people have been battling so teams can't play that anymore successfully. We watched Bob Bradley destroy Spanish tiki-taka in the Confederations Cup. 2-0 win, baby.
Empty bucket.
Well, we played really narrow and we forced them out wide constantly, and they just weren't used to making crosses through the air and having someone get on the end of it, so it fucked them up completely. So they're way anyhow. I don't want to get into the history of tiki-taka. It's annoying. Everybody has, you know, their own ideas on how it evolved and who played it and who didn't really play it, or who played a form of it and how it evolved from total football, and how Cruyff was a major figure in it or wasn't, and blah, blah, blah. Don't want to get into it. Anyhow, I do know what it is. So that's the end of that. And do you have a question?
Yeah, no.
Okay. So there's probably not a lot more to go on this one. I do want to thank what is it, Chabuga?
I will say sorry, go ahead. Thanks.
Yeah, I want to thank him just for the dog information, because his dog had the same problem, but it ended up. So just to update on Gizmo, he's not limping anymore. So there you go. He's back to not limping. And historically, he's had a lot of mental issues, and he'll have these sort of things happen his whole life. So I don't know if it's the same ailment, but I'm going to bring it up with my vet. Thank you, Chabuga. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah. So Berlin brought this question up well over a week ago, and we spaced it on Monday and probably the Thursday prior. But so he went through, and I don't know if he did this or if he got this from somebody else, but went through and was checking out a lot of the American pundits' Twitter accounts and running an audit on them. And I have no idea what goes into that by any means.
I don't either.
But he found that Grant Wahl had about a 47% bot.
Are you going to make me defend Grant Wahl again?
No. The question is how does he goes? How does one get 300,000 plus or 400,000 whatever it was bots?
Yeah, that's
him?
a lot of bots.
A lot of bots.
Who does he work for now? Grant Wahl
Himself. He's on Substack.
Oh, is he? He doesn't have any.
I'm sure he does other stuff elsewhere, but he promotes his Substack more than anything.
I mean, if he has staff, he could certainly have people creating bots for him. But
they're going on there and creating emails.
Okay, says here
bot account 1, bot account 2, bot account 3.
I mean, you could, if you had staff, you could have them sit around all day and do that. But it does say here he is a soccer analyst for CBS Sports, so he still works for. So CBS.
Did we talk about that with? Did we talk about Jimmy with about that?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, it's possible that CBS Sports is doing that shit. It's possible, although I guess
all their sponsors may do it. It may just be part of the thing, you know.
And now, listen, I'm not defending him having a 50% fake bot thing, but I don't know if it's his fault.
Thank you. Yes, I was about to say that same thing too. But it is. He brought up a number of other people. I think he did Filippo and he did Eric Winalda. I don't know who else he did, but they were all about 97% not bot, which seems to be the most consistent thing. But I was just curious. He's curious why that's the case. I don't know enough about this to even make an educated guess, and I'm just assuming that he was with CBS. He's with who was he with before?
Fox,
and various other things. He wasn't with Washington Post for a while. Was that am I thinking of somebody else?
I thought it was Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated. Yes. There you go. So it could literally just be a something that drives off that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that account's been around so long, it's absolutely impossible to say. And we'll probably try to have Grant Wahl on here. I know people don't like him, but he's a good bald dude. He's all right.
Bald dudes stick together. Now, we tried to talk to everybody across the board. We're happy people. Yeah,
I'd have Berhalter on this show if he'd come on. It's not going to come on.
That'd be one of our biggest viewed shows if that were the case.
I'd like Winalda to come on too. And Brett, you were supposed to work on that via Twitter. What's going on?
Yeah, he's there. I mean, I haven't done anything yet. No, in all honesty, I still need to work with Brettos too.
Brettos, Winalda, we'd like to have on, hoping his memory sucks.
Or maybe he's forgiven you.
I doubt
Derek,
he's forgiven me. So
water under the bridge. I said it for him.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Those are really all. I like the response from Eldu32. Said BG's Odessa album sounds a lot like the Beatles, and I did reply. Yes, it does a little. I think that the Beatles. Sergeant Pepper's is what he compared it to, and Sergeant Pepper's is pretty erratic. It's all over the place, whereas this has like a really, I mean, yes, there's a couple weird country songs on it, but it's like pretty weird, just slow and weird ballad sort of stuff, where that's not what you're getting on Sergeant Pepper. So I agree and I disagree. Like the recording sound is somewhat similar in the way the instruments are arranged, but other than that,
I'm really more of a fan of the Doctor in the Pepper family.
Oh, great! You'd rather drink soda than listen to Sergeant Pepper, which, by the way, is it's a way overrated album. They had better ones. It's going to get me in trouble. And so there's that, and then the guy who said we had an underrated channel. I don't know what that means, but thank you.
Means we don't have enough people. There's not enough people that respect us to subscribe to our channel. Subscribe, like the video, comment on the video, share it with everybody. Let's get this. Let's get the word out there, guys.
Yeah, we haven't really been around that long. So
my question to him was, at what point do we become overrated? Is it 5,000 subs? Oh my god, I
10?
can't believe these assholes have 5,000 subs. Jeez.
Some people probably already consider us overrated.
Yeah, it's
So
possible.
yeah, I appreciate that because I know what he's trying to say. And hey man, I guess spread the word. And I guess it's gonna end the show. Say subscribe, like, ring the bell, ring the Gary Busey. Don't sit too long on your Horvath. It'll cause butt hurt. So don't do that either. And we'll see you next time on the Straight Red Card.